welcome to Oz Vehicles. My name is Magnus, and today we're going to have a look at our 2022 BMW iX M60, and what a car it is. Both me and Martin agree this is probably one of our favourite EVs. Isn't that right, Martin?
It sure is.
Sure is. So let's have a look round. Starting with the front here. Fantastic condition. The whole car is throughout. It really is lovely. There are a few unique bits of this car, such as this carbon fibre lower spoiler here. That's 3D design, so it's made for the iX, and it looks fantastic. Really gives it an aggressive look on the front. Other bits you've got is BMW's laser lights, so matrix LEDs, which are fantastic in the dark. Their iconic kidney grille, of course. No vents, because again, it doesn't need them, but still that very familiar BMW front end. You've also got other little bits like camera at the front here, and when you use the washers, they do actually come out and clean that as well. And then underneath the logo, that's where you put your washer fluid in. There's actually no easy way of opening the bonnet. That's the only thing BMW want you to do, is to fill it up with screen wash. Coming round the driver's side, we can see that it has some rather unique alloys. These are 22-inch alloys, and they are official BMW alloys. You can see little bits like the M logo on the valve caps, but these have got carbon fibre fins all the way through it, and these weren't actually available as an option on the configurator. They're an accessory from BMW, and they cost the best part of £5,000, so not cheap, but they are lovely. They look very unique, and I can't say I've seen another iX on the road with them, so very, very special. Various bits such as black and gold M badging you'll see throughout the car, but as you can see down the line of the body, it's in lovely condition. It's a very sleek body. The door handles are in the doors as opposed to coming out, so it gives a very flush look. Obviously you've got privacy glass at the rear as well. You can probably see this is the biggest charge flap I think I've ever come across. It does certainly swing out quite a bit. You've even got individual covers for the AC and the DC charging ports. So AC at the top for home charging. The whole unit, what they call CCS, combined charging system, that's for your rapid charging. And this car can charge quick. It's got a big battery, but you don't have to spend long filling it up. Round at the rear, you've got these lovely tail lights that go right the way around the boots. You can see you've got black and gold M60 badging there, iX badging on the other side, which we'll have a look when we come round. You've got more carbon. This is a 3D design carbon fibre spoiler. Not the biggest spoiler in the world, but it does again really enhance that sporty look, because believe me, this car is quick. BMW logo here, rear view camera, and again there's a little washer jet behind the BMW roundel that pops out and sprays the camera, which is very convenient. In the boot itself, you've got a two-piece parcel shelf, one piece here, one piece up at the glass here, which obviously doesn't block your view when you're driving. You've got a BMW official floor mat, which will come with the car, and then underneath you've got loads of storage, including tyre, air compressor, charging cables, all underneath there. You can also drop the rear seats from here as well. There's switches on the side, which makes it very useful as well. As you'd expect, it is an automatic boot, so you just push the button, it comes down ever so nicely. Round to the passenger side, just like the driver's side, it is in lovely condition. I can't really point anything out because there isn't anything to point out. It is lovely all the way down. There's not a dent at all, not even the smallest one that I can see. And I have been over this car with a microscope, so all in lovely condition. Obviously you've got 360 cameras, so you've got cameras in the mirror here. Coming round to the remainder of the front. As you can see, alloys all in lovely condition. Likewise at the front here. Maybe if I'm being absolutely picky, there is the odd very, very small stone chip which I'm trying to find again. Sort of there, and maybe there. That's the worst of it, and they are really not noticeable. It is in very nice condition. So in the front, from the driver's point of view, you've got a fantastic cockpit. You've got this lovely curved display here, so all your infotainment's on this screen, and obviously from the driver's point of view, you've got navigation, speed, and everything on this one. When you start it up, makes a bit of a booming noise. I don't know if you can catch that off the microphone, but you can easily see how much power you're using, your speed, all sorts. There's so many options that you can configure on this dashboard. You've also got heads-up display, which you can't necessarily see because it's really tucked behind here, but you do have the heads-up display, so that is a lovely feature to have. Steering wheel, nice hexagonal steering wheel, as BMW call it, so easily able to grip it. It's very nice to hold in pretty much every position. You've got cruise control on one side, media on the other, so very practical. It's a very minimalist interior, but it doesn't mean it's lacking in features. There's so much going on. Typical BMW with the iDrive, you've got all of your little wheel here so you can control the screen. Lots of little quick options as well, so you can just bring up all the 360 cameras. You can raise the suspension height quite easily. It doesn't say it on there, it does on the dash. But this one has the crystal glass, so crystal glass for the wheel, the volume scroll wheel, the gear selector, and even on the doors as well. You can see just about there, crystal glass for the seat controls, sorry. So that, again, more and more quality, more luxury in this car. You've got plenty of storage. You've got big old, what's the word I'm looking for? Center console, so plenty of storage in there, which folds up like so. You've got a little space for your phone just here. That's nice to have. You've got wireless charging pad, cup holders, big door bins. There's lots going on in here, and there's absolutely loads of space and practicality. In terms of the screen itself, it is a touch screen, so you can, he says, you can use your finger to touch it, but I personally find using the iDrive system and the wheel to scroll through things a little bit easier. It takes some time to get used to if you haven't had a BMW in the past, but once you are used to it, you'll realise it's such an easy method to use without having to either reach and touch the screen when you're driving, or take your eyes off of it. You can keep your eyes on the road and just sort of scroll the wheel like so. And there's lots on here. There's, again, so many options. Too many options to go through in a video, but there's plenty. There's one thing I quite like is the driving modes. So it's not just your typical sort of eco, normal and sport. You've got personal, you've got sport, efficient, expressive, relax, and then digital art, which I don't 100% know what it does, but what those modes do is sport obviously does tune the performance for the car, as well as changing the ambient lighting on the inside. So you've got different ambient lighting levels, you have different colors at different parts of the car, which is really nice. But also the noise, so it does have a bit of an acceleration noise, a fake engine, and those sounds were designed by Hans Zimmer. So you're sitting in a Hans Zimmer studio effectively. All these different modes make different noises. Personally, expressive, for example, you might not be able to hear it in a minute, but it sounds a bit like a string quartet, quite suspenseful. Of course, when you accelerate, those strings get louder, so it's quite unique. Verging on the edge of gimmick, but I do like it. I do like the noise. Sport, again, it makes it seem you can all go red on the dash as well. So yes, lots of very cool features. The leather is fantastic. It's lovely and soft in so many places, even down below. It's nice fabric. You've really got to go quite far down to get to sort of the harder plastics, but also with sort of this satin gold trim, really gives sort of a blue and gold, a really luxurious feel in this cabin. Last little thing I'll point out is it's got a Bowers & Wilkins 4D surround system. So you're thinking, how on earth is it 4D? You've basically got vibrators in the back of the seat, and it's not just the driver's seat, it's pretty much, it's every seat. So what they basically do is they respond to the bass frequencies from any music playing, whether it's the radio or from your phone, and it basically means you can feel the bass through your spine. Again, you can adjust the intensity of it. If it's not for you, you can turn it all the way off. If you really want to feel like you're in a concert or, you know, at a rave, you can turn it all the way up. But that is quite the sound system, and it does go very loud, and I am a sucker for a good sound system. So here in the back, you've got loads of space and plenty of comfort. Like in the front, the seats are incredibly plush, and they are really nice to sit in. There's lots of other creature comforts as well, such as you've got dual USB-C charging ports on the back of the seat, as well as the click and go system. So you can plug in a mount and have an iPad there, which is obviously great for the kids in the back, or just for the rear passengers in general. You've obviously got seat pockets at the back. You've got 4-zone climate, so you can control the climate for each rear passenger, as well as heated seats for each one as well, which is lovely. You've got, in the seats themselves, you've got a lovely plush armrest with the cup holders that pop out like so, and they obviously just open up like so to suit the cup, but that means you've got a nice smooth armrest, so you're not going to put your elbow into the cup holders or anything like that. Like so. Even for baby seats, ISOFIX, it's not hard to use. It's literally just that little tab you pull up that reveals the ISOFIX points. So nice and easy like that. In terms of folding the seats down, there are little switches just down the around the door pillar, which you pull, and it literally just pops down like so. So really nice and smooth like that. You've also got this lovely panoramic roof which goes from the front to the very back, and the unique thing about this is obviously it's UV and infrared tinted, so you're not going to get burnt from the sun being above you, but it is electrochromatic, so that means at the minute it's fairly transparent, but if you decide actually I like it a little bit darker, at the push of a button you can make it pretty much opaque. Slightly hard to tell with the camera because again it's a bit grey above and it's slightly grey, but if the sun was on it you could basically see the sun, and then it goes to almost blurred, which is very nice and quite a unique feature to have. Right then, so let's take, that's that noise, I love that noise. Let's take our iX M60 out for a test drive, get a feel for it. I tend to drive it in B mode. I don't know if you can see that back here, but down here you might be able to just. B is sort of your regen braking mode, because I'm used to driving EVs obviously. I tend to have the regen on because it's just how I prefer it. But if it's easy to switch on and off just between drive and B, just literally from the centre here. But let's take it out. We're going to have it in sport, just so you get a real feel for it. Just because it's in sport doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to go flying off like a rocket. So let's go out here and take it on a spin. Now, it is a big car. It's an SUV. Obviously, you do sit quite high up. You do feel the width a little bit, but it does have rear axle steering. So that means that the rear wheels turn in opposite directions to the front wheels, which makes the turning circle quite sharp. So obviously good for round track, but also just daily driving. It makes it a lot more manoeuvrable than you probably think it was. So very little turning of the steering wheel just to get around the roundabout. So if we come down here, this is just at 30 miles an hour. Again, it's such a quiet cabin. It's a really, really quiet car. And it's such a lovely space to be. I mean, I haven't got any sound on at the minute, but normally I've got the music playing, fantastic sound system. And it's just such a comfortable seat. The headrest is in a good, is in a good position. You've even got speakers in the headrest, so you can actually hear it literally around your head as well. So it really is fantastic. But we'll just bob down here. Just so you're aware, at the minute I've got about 55% battery, and that's 150 miles of charge showing. So that's very nearly a 300-mile range, which on a car this size is not common. I think BMW really sort of smashed it out of the park by getting a range, and it's relatively accurate as well. Of course, as it gets a little bit colder, the range does drop slightly, but realistically, anything more than 200, 250 is what you need for sort of daily driving. But if we come out onto this straight here, and we'll just keep it at 30, and then as soon as we get to the sign, we'll put our foot down, and you'll feel all 600 horsepower. It's 1,000 newton meters of torque in this thing as well. So just so I've got this ticked off, you've got the space, you've got the comfort, and you've got the performance and the range as well. And that's acceleration is at any speed, and you might think I'm exaggerating that, but I'm really not. It's brutal. You can just put your foot down and it just absolutely goes, and you feel the whole front lift up. It is quite the rocket ship, and you wouldn't think it would be such a big car, but it's fantastic. Really, really nice. Just that instant acceleration. Your passengers won't like you, because you'll make them feel sick doing that constantly. At least you as the driver know when it's coming. But otherwise, if I was just to, let's say, bring it up to 60, about here, it cruises along nicely. You barely feel any of the bumps. It just happily bobs along. You don't have to do the acceleration like I've been doing. I'm just showing you, how quick the car is. Like any EV, it's quick and it's fun. You can't deny it is fun, but you don't have to have it there all the time. You can have it in comfort, and of course it's not quite as hard on the accelerator, but the suspension's a little bit softer. But even in sport, it's not bad. So we're coming back around through the town now. Handling is really good because of the rear axle steering. It handles really, really well, and I'm watching the little GoPro wobbling around like that as I'm turning it because it's on a stick. But it handles really, really well, really comfortable. I can't say a bad thing about this car. I know the looks aren't for everyone. The looks at the front, people when it first came out, people were like, oh, well, that's not the sort of design I'd go for, and not what they expected with BMW. But a lot of BMW stuff, when they came out with it, the first reaction was, oh, I'm not sure on that. And now people really like it, or at least I do. At the end of the day, with this car, from where you're sitting, which is obviously, it's a car, you're going to be driving it, from where I'm sat, it is a really, really nice place to be. No matter what it looks like on the outside, I actually think it's grown on me quite a bit. I do actually really like the styling. It's very sleek. It's not boring, which some of them can be. It's got some nice design elements to it, and obviously the bits that the previous owners added as well, are really nice. They do enhance it quite nicely without being gaudy or over the top. But no, it is from where you sit, where I'm sat right now. It's an absolutely lovely car to be in. It's nice having the height, the performance, just the comfort. It's got massaging on the driver's seat as well, so it really is a comfortable car. And this is also BMW's quickest SUV as well. That's the other thing. I think it's 3.6 seconds to 60. But someone did a test of one of those drag racing things on YouTube, and it was 3.2, which is insanely quick for a car this size. But no, the range is excellent. Even now, we are down 1%, but of course I've used a little bit more battery because of the acceleration. But no, if you're a steady driver on a good day, 300 miles, I'd say you probably get out of this, which is super for a car this size. It really is an excellent EV, and it's, as me and Martin said earlier, it's one of our favourites. And I think if we were to have an iX ourselves, we'd have to go for the M60, because just why wouldn't you? They do the 50, which is good for the range and the battery, but when you can get this for, with all its features on it, fully loaded, with the performance, that performance just puts a smile on your face, or it does for me anyway. And I'm hoping if you are interested in the car, it puts a smile on your face too. But I will park it up here, and there we are. So there is a walk round of our BMW iX M60, and what a car it is. As you've seen from the video, it's a car that I get quite excited about, with all my ramblings and all the fantastic things about it. I haven't said one negative thing really, so I wouldn't be a very good subjective car reviewer, but I don't need to be, because I'm obviously selling this one, so I'm happy to talk about it. But no, for an EV, it's a fantastic all-rounder. There's comfort, there's practicality, there's performance, there's luxury. It's all here in this car. It's truly a fantastic car, and we are very very pleased to be selling it, and hopefully the next owner will get as excited about it as I do. But thank you very much for watching this. All the details on the car, everything I've talked about, will be in the advert. All the sort of specs and the options, things like that. So obviously take a look, and obviously would love to hear from you. You will find more videos like this one, sort of our extended walk around where we really get in detail and road test it as well, on our YouTube channel and on some of our other adverts. So if you've got any interest in our other cars, take a look. But apart from that, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.